This is the 23-0 Falcon 270 awning. Gives you tons of coverage both down the side and at the rear of your car. I'm going to show you how to set it up and how to pack it away. It's really easy. Let's get started.
Hit it.
Ben from Stoneys here, folks. Down here today at the Caravan and Camping Show in Adelaide. We're on the 23-0 stand where we're showing you some of their products. Packed up next to me here is a 23-0 Falcon 270 awning. I'm going to show you how to set it up and pack it away today. This is how it looks when it's on your vehicle. You get everything you need to mount it, but it's about 214 centimeters in length, about 19 kilos in weight. To get started setting it up, first thing we're going to do is unzip the PVC tonneau cover. And it's worth noting that 23-0 put this flap at the front of the awning here to protect this zipper end from wind-driven rain while you're driving, so there's little chance of any water sort of getting into the cover here. And I'll also mention before I go too far that you can install the extra poles you need to set up your awning. I've got them tucked up on top here, but I've got them loose because we don't have the bag for this demo awning. But these 3 extra poles that you need for setup can fit all up in the same cover as your awning. We zip this open and throw the tonneau cover over the back. So once we've got the tonneau cover thrown back, you can see we've got 3 straps here to secure all the fabric up against the frame. We undo those, let it unroll, and this frame will start to want to come out. Now it's worth noting that you set this up as freestanding only for setup and pack up. If you're going to leave it set up, always peg out your guy ropes so that any gusts of wind aren't going to damage the awning. From this point, we just let the frame swing outwards from the awning. And we can pull this side out as well. And from here, you get a couple of straps that come with your kit. This is what they look like. They've got nice rubber coated metal clips on the end and a buckle in here to be able to tighten it. Now we use these to tighten each end of the awning back to the vehicle. I've actually got one strap attached here already to the other side of the vehicle. We pull the awning across, we tighten the awning right around, and there's 2 loops on the top here. One of them is for a guy rope. This one here is what we want to use for this strap here. It's actually attached to the frame. And we loop a hook through, or put the hook through that loop. We just give that a bit of a tighten, not too tight, just firm. We do the same thing at the other end of the awning. And the awning comes right around the back of the vehicle here, and we grab a hook or a strap, we hook it anywhere on the vehicle, just give it a bit of a tighten. Once again, not too tight, just firm so that the poles aren't flapping around too much. So the awning is now set up in freestanding mode. We don't want to leave it set up like this for long, particularly in windy weather. So we need to put the poles in place and peg it out with some guy ropes. So there's 2 poles that are pre-attached to the awning. Little straps here to secure it up against this rafter. We fold these down, they're extendable poles. We give that a twist, let it drop to the ground. Just take a bit of weight off of the rafter here. We do that on this pole, and there's 1 more pole at the other end that we need to drop down as well. Now there's 3 more poles we need to put in place to set it up and to give it all the support it needs, and they come included with your kit. Now these poles have both a spigot on one end and a ball joint on the other. The ball joint is beneficial in that you can replace the existing poles on the awning, the drop down ones, should anything happen to them. But in this instance, for the last 3 rafters, we need to flip them over this way and use the spigots. Now these spigots fit inside a little hole on the rafter at the top here, on both this center rafter between the 2 drop down poles, also on the rafter that runs to the back of our vehicle there, and 1 more that runs down to the front of our vehicle there. Now we've got all the poles in place, but we're not quite set up yet because we need to secure the awning down. Now you get all the guy ropes and pegs you need to secure it in place. You need to attach the guy ropes to these loops, which exist at the end of each of these arms. You've got another one up here as well. And you've also got peg points or guy rope points in the middle of each wall. Now these are actually for rain gutters. You attach your guy rope to this, tighten it a little, it gives a bit of an angle on the wall there and allows the water to run down and away from the awning. And one last thing I mentioned about setup is this little flap of fabric here. Now this has got little eyelets in the quarters here. Now what this is designed for is to close this gap here so you don't get weather in. So we can use the eyelets to tie it back to our roof rack there if we like. And that's then closing off most of the weather between our vehicle and the side of the awning. Now the extra benefit of this is it does actually come out. We can remove the whole awning, and it actually attaches in a sail track on the rear arm as well to allow us to either close the gap here or the gap above our rear tailgate. Now that's the Falcon 270 awning all set up. That's pretty easy all by myself. Pack up is just as easy. First thing we'd want to do is remove all the guy ropes that we've got in place, which we haven't done today. Second thing is to remove all the loose poles and just put them down on the ground in front of where we're going to pack it up here, and then we can fold the attached poles up against the rafters. So now we just got to remove the straps at each end of the awning and it'll all start to fold in. Now from this point, just take some time to make sure all of this fabric isn't folded up. It's going to make rolling it up back in the bag a whole lot easier. And the first thing I'm going to do is push these two poles that are at the front side of the awning in against the backing plate, and just try and straighten this fabric as best you can as you go. And then we grab the other three poles. One of them sits below the other, this one sits in front of them all, and push that up against it as well. And from here, once again, just check the fabric, so make sure it's not bunched up like this. If it's nice and flat, it's going to roll up back into the bag so much easier. Once they're flat, we can then start to roll this fabric up, nice and firm from the bottom upwards. And when we get to the last little bit, we don't roll it, we just kind of fold it up so it sits in front of the poles there. I'll give a little tip here that I've just discovered. Before you push all this up too firm, just make sure the other end of this strap isn't stuck in behind the frame there. Just pull them out before you tighten anything up, because once you've tightened it up, it's hard to get them out. Now that's the awning secured back up against the backing plate. Now I'm going to grab my poles from down on the ground here. Now normally these would be in a bag to make it much easier to pack up, but they can actually just sit up on top here for pack up. I'll hold them there in place while I pull the tonneau cover over the top, and we can then zip the awning away. Now this cover is oversized, so this is doing up like an absolute breeze, nice and easy. From there, we've got this little flap at the end here, put it over the top of the zip to protect that from water once again. That is our 23-0 Falcon 270 awning, all packed up. That was really easy to set up and pack away all by myself. Now I reckon these are a great balance of the shelter you get down the side and the back of your car, and weight at only 19 kilos, and so easy to use. You can grab them online at snowies.com.au at our lowest prices every day. If you've got any questions, let us know down in the comments below. Subscribe to our channel, we'll send you all of our latest and greatest information, or check out some other 23-0 videos like this one down here.